Welcome to my channel. Today's discussion, we're going to explore a topic that weighs heavily on the Muslim world, the ongoing conflict between Pakistan and Afghanistan, and the ripple effects it may have on all of us. You see, these are two nations that share faith, culture, and deep historical bonds. Yet today, tension defines their relationship. Let's think about it. How two brothers in Islam can find themselves on opposite sides of a border, firing at each other politically, militarily, and economically. Today, I'll try to unpack this layer by layer, and we'll also reflect occasionally on what the Quran and Hadith remind us about the brotherhood and the cost of division. To understand today, we have to look back much further than the last few years. Historically, Afghanistan and Pakistan regions were inseparable culturally and socially. Tribes straddled the mountains freely, people prayed together, traded together, married across the passes. But then came the Durand Line in 1893, drawn by the British Empire, cutting through the heart of tribal lands. It wasn't just a line on the map, it was a division of hearts, a division that left generations of families on opposite sides and sowed seeds of mistrust that linger even today. When Pakistan emerged in 1947, Afghanistan was the only country to initially withhold recognition. That early reluctance laid the groundwork for decades of suspicion. As you see, history here is not just academic. It shapes the way people interact, it shapes policies, and ultimately it shapes conflict. Fast forward to the late 1970s, the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, millions of Afghan refugees poured into Pakistan seeking safety. Pakistan became the front line for the Mujahideen resistance, a land where faith and politics collided. You see, this wasn't just a military struggle, it was ideological, tribal, and deeply human. Pakistan trained fighters, provided shelter, and the world watched. But here's the point. When Soviets withdrew, the war didn't end. Weapons stayed, ideologies hardened, and a vacuum emerged, leading to the rise of the Taliban. And this is where the story becomes complicated. The 1990s saw the emergence of the Taliban. Many of the leaders had ties to Pakistani religious schools, connections that Pakistan initially supported, hoping for stability along its border. Yet, alliances shifted, and what was once strategic support became a thorn in Pakistan's side. You see, by the 2000s, after 9/11, Pakistan found itself in a difficult position, balancing international pressures and domestic realities. Some groups Pakistan once helped became the very fighters targeting its own territory. This brings us to the TTP, the Tehrik-i-Taliban Pakistan. They operate from Afghan soil, claim religious motives, yet attack Pakistan, killing civilians and challenging the state. Pakistan, understandably, has responded with military operations, including airstrikes inside Afghan territory. Now, imagine that for a moment, two Muslim nations, neighbors tied by religion and culture, exchanging fire because of a group neither fully controls. And the humanitarian cost is enormous. Civilians caught in the middle, families displaced, the burden of refugees grows heavier. The border itself, the Durand Line, remains unresolved. Afghanistan has never fully recognized it, while Pakistan has fortified it. It's a physical line, but it's also symbolic. It represents centuries of mistrust, a reminder of division. And as borders harden, so does resentment. And if you think about it, how many conflicts in the Muslim world began over borders, over territory, over pride? This is a recurring lesson from history to today. Conflict is not just measured in bullets, it's measured in livelihoods. Trade routes have closed, markets are empty, goods aren't moving, families cannot access basic necessities. In Pakistan, hosting millions of refugees already, the strain on resources is unthinkable. In Afghanistan, internal instability and sanctions compound the crisis. And you see, these are two Muslim nations suffering while the world watches, sometimes silently. We can't ignore the global dimension. China, Iran, India, even United States all have stakes in this region. External influence can escalate tensions or sometimes facilitate peace, but the reality is simple. The conflict between Pakistan and Afghanistan cannot be solved by outside powers alone. True stability must come from within, from dialogue, from understanding, from the willingness to see each other as brothers again. Let's pause and reflect. The Quran reminds us the believers are but brothers, so make peace between them. Surah Al-Hujurat, verse 10. And Hadith teaches us a Muslim is the brother of another Muslim. He does not wrong him, nor does he hand him over to someone who does. Conflict between Pakistan and Afghanistan is not just political, it's a wound on the Muslim world, a reminder that division harms us all. And yet, there is hope, dialogue is possible, faith can be a bridge, and generations of shared culture, shared history can be reclaimed if we choose peace over pride, reconciliation over retaliation. So, dear listeners, as we close today's discussion, I leave you with this thought. Peace between Pakistan and Afghanistan is not just a political goal, it's a moral responsibility for the region and for the Ummah. Let's think about that and pray for wisdom, for guidance, and for brotherhood to return. Thank you for listening. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.